You might not expect the answer to the question in the title of this video, and it might even be a letdown. But I think that's a very good sign for where silver is going in the future, and I'll explain why as we look into it. Those of you who have been watching this channel for a while know that I'm cautiously optimistic. That can come off as negative about silver sometimes, but I believe in being realistic about the metal over the long term, because there's more to silver than just its price. And I say that knowing full well that we are on the march to $50 silver. Are we going to make it? Okay, probably. I haven't promised to make a new video with new predictions about where I think the price of silver will go before the end of the year, but I have been right about silver about half of the time I've been making predictions about it, which is a good average, right? I like to think that my guesses about the market and what silver will do are pretty well informed, but as with anything, anyone can be wrong. That being said, there are some things going on that make me think silver will do well beyond, yes, $50 an ounce. What do I mean by that? What happens when the price of an ounce of silver hits $50? That's the answer. Not much, really. There haven't been any major changes in the silver market, and many of the same themes are still surfacing as reasons for the price of silver to rise. Things are different this time. Of course, most of us don't believe that, but things are very different now than they were in 1981 or 1981. In light of this, I believe the answer to the question, what happens when silver hits $50 an ounce, is nothing, since everything will keep going in the same way it has. That's how I feel, at least. At the moment, inflation is happening, but let's take a step back and talk about the dollar for a moment. Am I saying that the price of silver will keep going up well above $50 an ounce? Not sure, not sure. I think there will be some resistance, but there hasn't been much resistance to the increase so far, which is why silver has gone up more than 60% this year. Even though this is getting more expensive and losing value, it's still worth the same amount. The value is more important than the price for those of us who have been stockpiling during the times when prices were low. This is because the price only shows what the market thinks it is worth, but history tells us more about where silver is likely to go, and in a way, we're finally seeing some of that history come back to life and people finally realizing how valuable silver really is, at least in terms of its price. There is one more word I want to talk about that makes me think silver could keep going up. That word is convergence. That's right. Something is coming together between all the different things going on that show what silver is all about and why it's gone up over 60% so far this year. What is that? In response to ongoing geopolitical tensions and economic uncertainty, there are a number of factors that are affecting the price of oil. These include high industrial demand, a prolonged supply deficit, and rising demand for safe havens. Right now, we're in the 5th year of this happening, and most analysts agree that it's very close to an actual deficit. There have been reports that the Secretary of War has gathered all of his admirals and generals in one place. The White House is playing down what this could mean, which has a lot of people thinking, wondering, and being very worried. And that could be one of many reasons why the price of silver keeps going up, along with worries about geopolitics. Then there's the other issue with mines. Yeah, silver is mostly mined as a byproduct of other metals. That means there aren't as many primary silver miners these days. But a lot of silver is being made by these other metals as a byproduct, and that's not enough to meet the demand for the metal. So it's having an effect. The short and long positions are starting to move now, which is having that effect. The price is going up because of the large number of long contracts that are now open. The main thing that will drive the price of silver is now that we know all of these different uses for it. Silver can be used for more than 10,000 things these days, and the number keeps going up. The versatility and the higher amount of silver that's needed, even with photovoltaics. Usually, as technology gets better, you can get more done with less. But not with solar panels, as I talked about in a video from a while ago. Some of the newest improvements will need more silver. That's right. We also know that we need to understand that silver and gold are going up while other investments like Bitcoin are going down and out of style. Coins like Bitcoin and silver have gone down and up in value in the last week or two. I also said that silver's market value has been rising and has now passed Amazon. It has now passed Amazon by a long shot and is getting closer to Google, which is very important. Certainly an amazing turn of events as we continue to watch these markets move. In the end, though, all of these factors coming together mean that not much has changed and won't change when silver costs $50 an ounce. It doesn't mean, though, that the economy is going to fall apart. There are also some very good things about the business that are starting to come out, and I want to be as intellectually honest as I can because the way the numbers are reported and the chefs at the Cook the Books Club can get very political. To be honest, that can work both ways. Still, there are some good GDP numbers there, and I think that some of it has to do with the sudden shift from tariff income to other things that are happening that will hurt some parts of the economy and help others, especially the North American economy. So those haven't really come true yet. And I think that higher demand, especially for industry in the US that needs silver, will only be good given what's going on there right now with market uncertainty, supply chain problems, and all the other good things that are happening. Now things are starting to look like they will make silver keep going up. I'm not going to tell you where I think it will be by the end of the year because it's already late enough that it's not clear if it will keep going up. And I made a movie about what I think will happen in 2026. It will come out near the end of this year or the beginning of next year. I think, though, that silver is about to keep going up. It makes me cautiously hopeful. Also, don't forget that I do a Market Watch live stream every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you'll join me as we talk about silver, gold, and other valuable metals as the markets change. But there could be a big drop in prices as people try to get their money back. Also, it might be normal for people to think, hey, I've made 13% of my money, I'm going to cash out now, which could lead to a lot of selling. We also don't know, and we need to be ready for a pretty big downturn at some point. Further, I have no idea when that will take place, but even if that does happen, we should still be sure that we're doing the right thing by adding silver. Having that diamond hand firmly gripped on your silver is very important, because I think that holding power is very strong, folks. That's what it's about. The Constitution of the United States of America and the Bible both say that we have real money in our hands. Obviously, the money isn't being used right now, but I believe this is something truly valuable and important, and you should keep it even if it costs $50 an ounce. That's right, there will be a strong urge to sell. As you might expect, I know of places where you can buy it and sell it, such as the channel provider. While some may want to sell some of their strong stacks, I think it's good to have a strong stack in general. That's okay to do, especially if it will help you get ahead in life or your situation calls for it, but it's always good to have a core stack, which includes a way to save money and an insurance policy for the worst that could happen. And listen up, $50 silver does not mean the economy is going to fall apart. In this case, it's not the worst thing that could happen, but things are different now that all of these things have come together, which wasn't the case in 2011. They weren't there in 1980 either. That's where it is. So tell me what you think. But to be honest, I think it's pretty cool to see silver move up like this. We shouldn't let it spoil us, though, since anything could happen. A huge number of people are thinking, hey, this looks like a pretty good investment. In the big picture of how things have turned out in 2025, yes, it is. Now, remember that this is the rare case and not the norm. Even though all of the things I talked about in this movie are coming together, they won't all go away tomorrow. But no matter what, things will get back to normal at some point. What will the price of silver be like then? Who knows? It's likely that the floor will be much higher than it was after the rise in 2011. No matter what, though, we know what it looks like now and what it will look like after the fact. And things will stay the same back in, quote, normal times. That's what we need to pay attention to. That being said, I want to thank all of you very much for watching and ask that you please rate, share, review, and subscribe.